Hajin just signed a contract that binds him to the Chameleon Troupe. But here's the secret. The contract can't actually hold him. In a ruined cave, all 10 members of the Chameleon Troupe gather, high rank and above, every single one of them. Their combined magic power fills the air with suffocating pressure. Most cadets would have collapsed just standing there. But Kim Hajin, he has no magic power in his body at all. He's completely unaffected. Boss silences the bickering with a single word. She pulls out a crumpled paper, a Class 1 magic contract. 3 clauses, almost childish in their simplicity. 1. Kim Hajin cannot betray me. 2. As long as he doesn't, I'll do my duty as his boss. 3. Whoever breaks it suffers magic power deviation. Duration: 6 years. Hajin infuses Stigma's magic power into the contract. But here's the loophole. Stigma exists outside his body. The contract literally cannot bind him. Ki Okwin-young sees the pure blue magic and exclaims it's the clearest he's ever witnessed. Boss then imbues her own power. Done. She hands Hajin the black necklace, the artifact of the Seat of Black, boosting all his stats by 1 point. It can even turn invisible. Then Droon, a boy barely past puberty, but don't let that fool you, tugs at Hajin's sleeve. He wants to see the gun. From behind him, a fat black rabbit with red eyes surges forward. Mimeo, the creature, studies the desert eagle with an unsettling grin. Droon smiles too. That's a nice gun. As the troop's assessor, his words carry weight.
That's a nice gun. Starting in 2 weeks, we will begin our real activities.
Boss draws everyone's focus. In 2 weeks, the Chameleon Troupe will begin their real activities. Chuk Jungyong's grin stretches wide with anticipation. In a completely different corner of the world, Yoo Jin-yuk rises from his sofa with a sigh. His niece, Yeonha, has been occupying his office for 6 days now, refusing to leave until he tells her the truth. When he tries to deflect again, she cuts him off. She already knows some things.
Chae Jin-yoon became a demon. So, isn't it better if I'm the only one who dies?
Jin-hyuk's hair stands on end. He remembers the coroner's voice, even more complicated than a Jin's demon transformation. The puzzle pieces finally click. He admits he stayed silent to protect her. If mishandled, even her parents could die. Better that he's the only one who gets killed.
Are we so weak that our entire family would be killed for challenging one person?
Jin-hyuk can't answer, but Yeonha doesn't wait. She declares she will make them stronger and demands he trust her. The child who always acted like an adult has finally become one. Jin-hyuk can only smile with admiration.
So, trust me.
4 days pass. With Khalifa's portal assistance, Hajin shuttles between the hideout and his apartment, slowly reshaping the cave, building a workshop, smoothing walls, carving out personal spaces. But leveling his dexterity gift is punishingly slow. His latest project, an alligator skin couch, takes 9 hours to craft. The reward? Dexterity goes up by just 1.5%. Still, the couch earns a special effect, significance of rest. It burns away fatigue and grants refreshing sleep to anyone who uses it. Between renovations, Ajin trains. He throws 10 knives at 11 holographic targets, hits every single one. But he wants more. He grabs a bow while throwing knives, tries to juggle all 3 weapons at once, and his neck catches in the bowstring. He crashes forward, nearly killing himself. Low dexterity makes multi-weapon combat nearly impossible, unless he had another arm. The thought hits him. Stigma. He can't literally create an extra arm, but he might be able to make it look like he has one. He decides to test it tomorrow. But the real win? Boss. The woman who claimed she preferred sleeping standing up. Hajin peeks through the workshop door and catches her, bouncing on the couch cushion, startled by its softness. She drags over an ottoman, props up her feet, and closes her eyes with a satisfied hum. Then, as if she's forgotten something, She grabs the TV remote. The volume blasts. She flinches and hurriedly turns it down. Hajin just smiles. Objective 1. Make boss watch TV. Accomplished. But as he's about to reply to Yeonha's message, the truth is confirmed. Nayoon is awake. Searing pain tears through his arm. It's like his limb is being ripped off. A fourth stigma line. The pain is worse than the third. His smartwatch warns, from the 5th onward, more SP will be required. His laptop begins updating, and then consciousness fades under the relentless agony. Morning breaks in Seoul. Yeonha arrives at Daeun Hospital's VIP wing. Chae Na-yoon has been transferred here, and today, she's finally awake. Kim Soo-ho, Shin Jong-hak, and Yi Yeon-han are already waiting. Together, they walk through the cultivated garden and reach her room. Na-yoon stands by the window, staring out in silence. When she turns, she laughs like nothing happened. She even stretches to prove she's fine.
There's someone I want to kill. So, I have to work hard.
She says it casually, but the words are cold steel wrapped in a smile. She asks Suho and Jung-hak to help her train immediately. She doesn't have time, she says. Yeonha's heart plummets. She can't hold her composure. She flees the room first, Chae Na-yoon's voice trailing behind her. 24 hours later, Hajin opens his eyes. He can't move his arm. The 4th stigma's backlash hit harder than any before. A heavy voice cuts through the haze. Khalifa, boss ordered him to stay. Without him, Hajin couldn't return home. Khalifa taps the ground and opens a portal. Then he gestures around the renovated cave. He wants to be next, and he's not asking for free. He tosses Hajin a blue rock stone, an expensive magic-infused gem, as payment. Then Khalifa asks about the mission. 4 days ago, boss announced Operation Old Revenge. They're going to annihilate the traitors who mocked the Chameleon Troupe during their decline. Pandemonium genes, a few heroes, some businessmen, all targets. Hajin looks at the 4 stigma lines on his arm, the circle now, surrounding the cross. His answer is a single word: I am. He notices his laptop is still updating, 3 years and 13 days remaining. The same mysterious device, still slowly progressing. Khalifa's portal deposits Hajin back in Seoul. He sprints home. The moment he presses the door code, tiny footsteps patter forward. Evandil and Ayang are already at the door. He scoops them both up. In the living room, there's an extra guest. Yoon Hayan, Evandil's friend, surrounded by scattered Lego pieces. Then the doorbell rings. Hayan's aunt, come to pick her up. Hajin opens the door without much thought and freezes. It's Yoon Seung-ah. At a nearby park, Hajin and Seung-ah sit on the swings in awkward silence, letting the kids have more playtime. She looks exhausted, fragile. The lawsuit, the failed tower campaign, it's all weighing on her. She stares at the crescent moon and murmurs. She's thinking of leaving everything behind. Joining the Hero Association's Temple of Justice. They have an empty seat. Eileen is there too.
I've been thinking of throwing everything away and going to the Hero Association's Temple of Justice. Don't worry, she's becoming an older woman.
Hajin shakes his head. The tower campaign failure wasn't her fault. That was on the guild leader. This is her best chance to seize the position herself. Seung-ah calls him childish. He grins, because he is. That's the point. As he stands to leave, Hajin adds one more thing. Suho is waiting for her to call. Her face lights up instantly. She stammers about being too old, 9 or 10 years older on paper, but Hajin reveals Suho is actually older than his official age. Don't worry, he says, walking away with a grin. He's into older women. Behind him, Suho's flustered protests echo through the night. 10 days blur past. The day of the mission arrives. Hajin stands on the outskirts of Pandemonium, the city ruled by jinns, wearing a black hooded cape and a chrome mask. Droon's voice crackles in his earpiece, directing him toward a distant clock tower. Hajin climbs it in 30 seconds with parkour. From 200 meters up, he scans the city. His target, a sleek 10-story tower with a giant obsidian stone on its roof. Hatred's End headquarters. 50 billion won to build. Tonight, one arrow is going to erase it, but he can't use his gun. The entire world knows he's the only hero who uses firearms. That's why he brought a bow. He draws the blessed bow of Horus. Ether reinforces the wooden frame. It hums with pleasure. He shapes Stigma's magic power into an arrow. Form, arrow. Property, explosion. Purpose, destruction. Color, black. 3.6 Stigma lines compress into something closer to a javelin, gleaming with destructive black light. He adds a magic amplification drug on top, knocks the arrow and fires. It tears across the sky in a perfect straight line, crossing 1.5 kilometers in an eye blink. Impact. A massive explosion erupts. The shock wave sucks air from every direction. The 10-story tower that stood proud seconds ago is now a cloud of dust and falling obsidian. One shot. Total annihilation. Droon's voice crackles in his ear. Wow, this is perfect, Young. Hajin turns away without hesitation. Despite his arm throbbing from the drained Stigma magic, he pulls out a cigarette, lights it with a flicker of Stigma, and walks off into the night. The taste is bitter, but the job is done. What he doesn't know yet, that single arrow has already caught the attention of someone who could change everything. Chunks of obsidian and concrete rain from the sky. In the chaos, Chuk Jung-young and Jin Yeonha laugh quietly. Boss is watching. They're only to kill the executives. Young spots one immediately. He gathers power in his legs, muscles swelling, then launches forward like a cannonball. He grabs the man's head, slams him into the ground. Bones shatter instantly. Before the body hits the dirt, he's already scanning for the next target. Jin Yeonha shakes his head. Are you sure you're not a wild beast? Then Yeonha spots his own prey. Slavin, Hatred's End's #3 executive, a Caucasian man in his early 30s, screaming and pointing at Yoon-young. Jin Yeonha smiles brightly, aims his serpent spear and charges. Slavin draws his sword. The clash seems light, but the result is devastating. Yeonha's spear instantly shifts to a 10-ton weight and crushes through both sword and body. Slavin is obliterated by sheer mass alone. Got one, Yeonha reports, still smiling. Hajin contacts Khalifa the moment his task is done. A portal opens, and he's back at the hideout. Boss is on the only sofa, watching Droon's projection of the battle. She smiles. He did well. But as Hajin moves behind the sofa, he notices something. Her hair is a chaotic mess, split ends everywhere, and Ether's aesthetic greed will not be denied. Boss, do you want me to comb your hair a little? She refuses. It'll feel good. I'm fine, but I'm not. He transforms Ether into a comb and pulls her long hair back before she can resist. She stops mid-protest as the pleasure hits. An Ether comb is 100 times better than any ordinary comb, and his dexterity gift guides every movement perfectly. She hums with satisfaction, eyelids fluttering. After 5 minutes, he ties her hair into a ponytail.
And you don't have to do this to prove your loyalty to me. No, I did it because I wanted to.
Boss had coughed awkwardly, telling him he didn't have to do this to show his loyalty. Hajin's reply is simple and genuine. He even forms a mirror with Ether so she can see herself. She studies her reflection from different angles, seemingly pleased with the ponytail. Then she pivots to business. The question, when will Hajin officially enter Geronimo Mercenary? It's his cover story, the official reason for leaving Cube. Plus, Geronimo missions will earn him a SPI. They set the date for March next year. Soon, a new identity will emerge. Fenrir, a gunner specializing in Jinn assassination and monster hunting. The pieces are falling into place. Later, at the Hero Association headquarters, Hero Tower, 900 meters tall in Gwanghwamun, in the Temple of Justice meeting room, only 5 of the 13 members have bothered to show up. Eileen fumes, arms crossed. 5 times in 5 years she's been deployed, and she's one of the strongest. Her complaints fill the room. Chairman Park Han-ho tries his usual trick. Eileen, did you get taller? She snaps back. She's 31 now. But her trembling lips betray her. She's genuinely pleased at the suggestion. He presses the advantage. Maybe her bones really are getting longer. Maybe it's because she stopped wearing high heels. Calmed, Eileen sits down. The meeting begins.
You're doing this again. I'm 31 now, you know?
Park Han-ho plays the footage from last night. A single arrow streaking across the Pandemonium sky like a shooting star. One shot, a tower erased. Yeonha drops his jaw. Nicholas widens his eyes. Eileen claps sarcastically. She could do the same with her eyes closed. Then the chairman shows the image. A man in black, standing atop a clock tower. Hooded cape like an eagle. Chrome mask, an elegant black bow in his hand. And the symbol carved into the ground. A black lotus. Eileen's expression hardens. She knows this mark. She fought someone from that group 7 years ago, and they drew.
Okay, leave the investigation to me. I'll take a look at them.
She snaps her fingers. I have to. We drew last time. She reveals she encountered someone from the same group 8 or 9 years ago, not the bow user, but if he's the replacement, he should be just as strong. She uses spirit speech on the chairman to make him hand over the files. He sighs, but complies. Resisting would only exhaust him. Whistling, Eileen dashes out before the meeting even ends. The hunt is on. Summer arrives. Cube's first semester has ended. After the Jin invasion, a lot has changed. Most executives pressured to resign. Heroes now patrolling the campus. Midterms abolished. Yeonha starts sniffing the air, about to comment on a weird smell, until Na-yoon's murderous glare stops the sentence cold. She puts down her coffee. She's going to Mount Baekdu during break. Shin Jongkok is already in. She wants Suho to come too. Suho hesitates. He's got something going on with that person. Na-yoon just stares at him without emotion. Eventually, he agrees, if he can make it. The old fire in Na-yoon's eyes has been replaced by something colder, determination without warmth. Na-yoon stands to leave. She has a sparring appointment with a man named Yeonha. Yeonha watches her go, sad. Then her smartwatch buzzes. A message. Geronimo's apprentice will become an official member in March. She reacts with interest. But when she looks up, Rachel is reading her own watch, and her expression mirrors Yeonha's exactly. Whatever this news means, it's caught the attention of more than one person. And that's where we'll leave it for now. The Chameleon Troupe is back. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this, hit subscribe so you don't miss what comes next. See you in the next one.